your iPad as well, brother. Sorry. Oh, no, don't stress for now. No, don't stress for now, because there's only 12 cars. Relax, Bob. Just for the 3 hours, fine, Paulie. Hello, Ma. How are you? Sorry, man. I didn't see you. I was just finishing up something. I'm on 53 days now. I've lost 48 people. 078. 6964. Yeah, that's scary. 30. I've had COVID for a month. Did Roger set up with you by any chance for I think it's a year.
Did you hear back to him on the fees?
Three of us and then there's yeah. Send me what you ordered all, and then that's a good idea. Please, Raj. Just WhatsApp, right? Yeah, WhatsApp it to you. Magic. Yeah, SAS. What? Just give me the first WhatsApp. I'll do that.
And then I'll whatever the orders are, I'll just bring up because I know you guys are busy.
Shots. Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Square up before I leave today.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. Okay, let's do this. Let's just get the screen a bit cleaner so we can see. Will this be, Paulie, this will be on your race monitor on here, hey? You've got race monitors or just on internet?
Yeah, it should be.
Where's your race monitor? Speed Hive, that's what I want. Speed Hive is the one. 062? Is it 062 you got?
No, I don't know, but it's not on WhatsApp.
Okay, no, it should be there.
62
487
487
4287. Yeah, shot Rog.
I'll send you Stanton's number now.
Sorted. I'm going to get it now. I'll WhatsApp it to you now. I'm just going to send it to Rog as well so you can sort out the account with you there too. Because he'll get down for all the guys that are in those green shirts as well.
Roger.
No, not that Roger. No, Roger Pierce is running SAES. Yeah, so it's the endurance race guys. So it'll be all the guys in like that lime green shirt. I think we did it with you last time as well.
Probably.
I'll check it out. I'll send it to you. Oh,
Australia's down there, so
I will. Shot. Thanks, bro. Oh, it's Greg. Yeah, thanks, Greg. Yeah, I've got nothing on my screen though. I've got blue. I've got blue bubbles. I don't have anything. There we go. That's me now. Now I got some. Now I got some stuff. Let's just do that. A big welcome to round 4 of the South African GT Racing Association Championship. Big welcome to everybody that's joined us here from Aldo Scrivanti in Quebec on the Eastern Cape, and looking forward to a great day's racing here today. There's no doubt about the racing we saw yesterday has been pretty spectacular, and now looking forward to more of the same as we get into round number 4 of the South African GT Racing Association Championship. It's race 2 and 3 today, 2 1-hour endurance races coming from this category, and we'll be going live for those as well throughout the day. Right now for the first heat of the day and race 2 of the weekend. We had another race yesterday afternoon, and of course now looking forward to more of the same into race number 2 and 3 for today, and then of course the South African Endurance Series race number 2 for the weekend. Let's have a look and see if that's slightly better than what we had in terms of the mic. There we go. That's a bit better. So we are now up and running for race number 2, the warm-up lap. Just to run through what happened yesterday. Michael Stephen initially led out as he's doing there right now, and was a hard man to catch. It was a good battle for second place between Charles Ranges and Silvio Scrivanti. And you'll see Charles Ranges a bit further back there in the pack, having to come through the field, with the grid positions looking like Michael Stephen and Silvio Scrivanti on the front row. Aldo Scrivanti and a very, very talented young man in a Ferrari, Michael Batamba, who will be pushing hard to get through the field as quickly as possible in that Liqui Moly. And an amazing effort there from the Pablo Clark team to put that young man in the car. Then you've got Aldo Scrivanti and Marius Jackson alongside each other. It's Ari Neveling and XO that'll be in 7th and 8th place, and watch out for the hard charge coming through there from Hein Latterkhan in the Porsche. First time out for him. You can see the Haval and GWM P Series Bucky, our official pace car for this weekend. Nice to see them offering us a way to go find the edge, and these guys are going to be looking for the edge today in race 2 of the South African GT Racing Association. There was a big touch between Charles Ranges and Silvio Scrivanti yesterday in heat number 1. Eventually the two of them stayed upright, and eventually at the end of race number 1, it was Charles Ranges who came across the line in first place ahead of Silvio Scrivanti, and Aldo Scrivanti taking his first podium
due to the fact that Michael Stephen had a small issue and a misfire into the closing stages of race 1 yesterday, and that dropped him down to 5th place overall. But all of that is now put onto the sidelines because it's time to go racing again for the second race of the weekend here in Quebec on the east coast of South Africa. Big welcome to everybody who's joined us from all around the world. We're looking forward to bringing you all the action throughout the day, and the lights are about to go off and we're going racing. Drop the hammer time down into turn 1 and expecting to see a big battle between these guys. You can see already Ari Nevling starting to make his way through the field pretty rapidly in that brand new Audi R8. One car significantly missing from today, unfortunately, was the debut car yesterday, the Bentley of David Buckham, who had a small issue at the end of the race, despite finishing in 6th place in his very first outing in the South African GT Racing Association Series. He unfortunately had some issues on the engine and decided not to do 2 and 3 today. So a little bit of work to do for the Bentley team. They should be back by the time we get down to East London Grand Prix Circuit, and that, of course, is on the first weekend of October. But it's now Michael Stephen yet again dictating the pace there, ahead and pushing hard of 2 very fast cars, as you can see through there. And looking at the way things are going there, I would say that is Charles Ranges, who is at the wheel of the Audi. Just looking at the helmet, yes, I would have to say that's probably Charles Ranges at the wheel of that car. And maybe they've given Ari Nevling the Lamborghini Huracan at the back in the Gulf Racing colours. But Michael Stephen, though, leads things out. That's how it starts. And let's have a look and see if we can keep it all together now at the front end of this field. Looking forward to a good battle between the South African GT Racing Association competitors. Just pulling up my live timing at the same time, just to see how things are going. And, of course, going to pick up exactly who's who in the zoo there. Arnie Nevling in the 13 car, as I expected. He's moved into the Gulf Racing and Stradale Motorsport Lamborghini Huracan. It's the blue and, or light blue and orange car. And it's Charles Ranges who's in car 7, who's making his way up in that brand new Audi R8. It's only been in the country for a couple of days, and it looks like they've already got a buyer for that car as well to join the series and be part and parcel of this awesome event so far. And just remember, this series kicked off initially during the lockdown period, so it's been a tough baptism for the series, but they've really shown a great turn of pace. Speaking of pace, Chop Sapuka, there in the 23 car. He'll be looking to up the pace ever so slightly and get to the front end as quickly as possible if he can. And that is exactly what he's trying to do right now. Try and push his way to the front end and see whether or not he can be the man who can spoil the day here. He was very close to getting into the podiums yesterday, but unfortunately just got caught out in the closing stages with a little bit of lack of pace. And also, he got blocked quite badly for a long time in a big battle with Aldo Scribanti and with Mikhail Patamba. So as they start to come through and finish up their first couple of laps, this is going to be lap number 3 they're completing. It's an hour endurance race, and remember there is also a compulsory pit stop for these guys. As they come across the line, see some pressure now onto the back end of Aldo Scribanti. They're coming from Ari Nevling. Nevling looking for a way through. Can he get the slipstream? It looks like he's got the slipstream down towards turn 1. And is he good enough on the brake? Should be relatively easy to get through there on Aldo, and does it so. After a good move, setting it up, coming out of Chevy, and then getting the good drive out of the Dunlop curve to come down the straight and use that slipstream effect. And it's to perfection that he's got it sorted out. So there you go. Moving up one position, and Arnie Nevling now up into 4th place. He'll have his eyes firmly set. You can see already pulling away there from Aldo Scribanti once he got past. Oh, a little bit of smoke there on the brakes coming out of Aldo. Mikhail Patamba going to try and close that Lamborghini down in the Pablo Clark and Liqui Moly Ferrari 458. Aldo looking for another podium if he can, but might be a bit more difficult today. There's some fired up drivers that are in the mix today, and certainly looking for opportunities, if there are any, to extend their leads in the championships if they can, and also to get those vital championship points in the bag too. Nice move here in that R8 coming from Charles Ranges. He's onto the back end now of Silvio Scribanti. I like that. A blue flag was waving for Sylvia. I don't know if the blue flag was justified there. It is not a slower car. That is a battle on track for position. And now we see Arnie Neveling trying to up the pace ever so slightly to catch his teammate. But you can see they're not even in sight as he comes out of Chevy. Next car in his sights he'll be looking to get through is on one of the back markers there. It might be the Audi R8. And that's a GT4 car being piloted today by Marius Jackson. So GT3s and GT4s in the mix. And I think, yeah, Action Jackson about to be caught by Arnie Neveling. He's already been passed by by all three of the top contenders there, Michael Stevens, Silvio Scriventi, and Charles Arangis. Stephen hanging on to a big lead at this point in time. Doesn't want to give anything away. Nice move here from Charles Arangis, having a big look. He had a big look into the hairpin, but didn't quite make it stick. Certainly in for a chance here to have a go into Dunlop. I don't think he'll go into Dunlop. He'll probably set things up to go down the straight and get him into turn one if he gets good drive and a good line coming out of Dunlop curve. This series, of course, runs on Michelin tyres, but the circuit is, of course, having a big relationship with the other brand of tyre manufacturers. But those Michelin's now working hard on the R8, and he has a big look into turn one. Wasn't close enough, but definitely a lot closer than what we've seen so far. Arnie Neveling hanging on to that 4th spot, but just off the back end. Neveling fastest on the track at the moment, 57.9 coming out of Arnie Neveling in the Lamborghini. 58.3s out of Michael Stephen, 58.7s out of Silvio Scriventi, and 58.4s out of Charles Arangis. So Michael Stephen just controlling things from the front, but he's going to have to be well aware of these two very fast cars coming along. Michael Stephen at the moment dictating the pace, but certainly hanging on for a good battle here, I think, between himself, Silvio Scriventi, and Charles Arangis. Yesterday, as I mentioned at the top of the show, a lot of pit lane activity certainly had a big effect in race results for race 1. Oh, big move there from Charles. He showed a wheel there this time. Didn't quite get up the inside to make the move into second, but he's definitely applying much more pressure onto Silvio Scriventi right now as they go into the S's. But just going back to that thought, pit lane activity was a big factor that came into play yesterday, and Stradale Motorsports pit stops were unmatched. And the Scuderia Scriventi boys and Michael Stephen and the Ultimate Outlaws team have got a little bit of work to do to catch up with the pace that the teams are able to put into those pit stops when the drivers come in. It was pretty spectacular to see. And Charles Arangis, of course, came in, I think, in 3rd place and then eventually left the pit lane in the lead of the race, having passed both Michael Stephen and Silvio Scriventi in the pit stop window. Arnie Neveling is coming along properly. Ari is not too far off the back end, and you can see all 3 cars in his sight as he gets onto that main straightaway. So there's a bit of a carrot being dangled in front of him to try and get to the front. Mikhail Patamba not quite able to get through there on Aldo Scriventi just yet. They had a nice battle yesterday, but it was Mikhail who was in front of Aldo Scriventi in yesterday's battle. So maybe he's got to try and find something there. There's results as it stands so far. Unfortunately, Isak Spies, Marcel Angel not in the mix today. And Hein Latergan also not coming out again in the Porsche. So we had a little bit of cars with some issues, but of course Latergan's Porsche will be out later in the SAES series. Marcel Angel having a bit of brake issue in the second of the McLarens yesterday down towards turn 1. Very fortunately didn't hit the tyre barrier, ended up about a couple of meters away from it, but they weren't able to get that McLaren sorted out overnight. So Spies and Angel out of this one. That's a big pity. Dave Buckham, as I mentioned, in the Bentley, great debut for him. Finishing the race in 6th place in his first outing. And then unfortunately on the slowdown lap, some issue on the Bentley, and that broke the car and he wasn't able to get it sorted out. So it's a big loss to the event not to have him in that brand new Bentley. Exo circulating nicely there. Zolile Letlaka doing a magic job there for the second of the Stradale cars. And currently sitting in 7th place. Another lap completed there for them. Marius Jackson, as I said, the only GT4 car on track. Currently sitting in the 9 spot at the back, understandably. 57.8 now out of Arnie Neveling on that last pass, so he's definitely getting that pace up dramatically. And down towards turn 1, possibility of an overtaking maneuver as well for the lead, as we're watching Jackson go through. Jackson from EXO. This is the Mega Fiber Audi from MJR Motorsport. And Marius Jackson's had a great debut in this series. He had a great outing last weekend at the Extreme Festival in the G&H Transport Extreme Supercars. And is now looking for ways and means to get to the front end of the battles that he's going to be involved in this series for the South African GT Racing Association. So it's Michael Stephen who leads things out. It looks like he might be coming into pit lane for an early pit stop. It is. Michael Stephen into pit lane. That's probably a scheduled stop there as part of his plan to get the pit stop done and dusted as quickly as possible. So it's Stephen into the pits, and that gives the advantage now to Silvio Scribanti ahead of Charles Orangis as they cross the line that time. So Mike into pit lane for an early stop. Part of his strategy yesterday was to get that stop done. And he stays in the same strategy, coming in early, getting that pit stop out of the way. Just after he came in, actually, yesterday, there was a safety car scenario, which, of course, allowed the rest of the teams to come in to do their scheduled stops. That's EXO, and heading alongside Marius Jackson towards turn 1. Jackson's going to be late on the brakes, but EXO's a little bit later, using the additional bits and pieces that come with the Lamborghini he's in terms of electronics and ability to brake as late as possible. And that's allowed EXO to squeeze through. Back markers are now going to become a bit of a factor. And both Silvio Scribanti and Charles Orangis will be looking to take advantage of those back markers. And just in the background, I'm going to be watching out for those leaders to catch this bunch. They should be heading up towards the hairpin any second now, as we're seeing EXO heading up towards the final corner. Pulling away now from Jackson. That's Silvio Scribanti who's leading things out at this point, but how much longer is Charles Orangis going to stay behind him? Or is he going to wait to do something in the pit lane again? Yeah, there's the top 3. And look at how Ari Neveling has closed them down. Neveling is right there with them, and looks like going into pit lane. Yes, change up. Oh, both cars. Both of the Stradale Motorsport machines coming in at the same time. That's going to put a little bit of pressure onto the team into the pit lane window. Coming in there with Charles Orangis, and right on his tail is Ari Neveling. So I don't know if that was a scheduled bit of planning there from the team, but both of them coming at the same time could cost them slightly, because there's only one team to do the changes that are required. And of course, remember, the changes that are required is that you have to put the car up on the jacks. The driver has to get out the car, stand on the floor, climb back in the car, and then get going again. They can refuel the car if they need to, and they can change tires if they need to as well. But this is going to give Silvio Scribanti a massive advantage, because if Ari Neveling gets stuck behind his teammate in the pit lane for a little bit longer than what he expected, that could be a costly mistake there from the team. And I was just waxing lyrical about how good their pit lane strategy was yesterday. Both of those Stradale cars are in the pit lane. There's one out, and it looks like he's been able to stay ahead of Silvio Scribanti. So when Silvio goes in, he's going to have literally a lap to get his pit stop done before any issues get sorted out there. So Charles Orangis comes out in second place, but of course he's got some work to do now to stay ahead of Silvio Scribanti. Looks like he got just ahead of Marius Jackson as well, so he wasn't hindered there, and I think Silvio got through on him as well. There we go. So coming across the line now, we may have a change up in the lead, because we've got to still see, of course, Silvio Scribanti go into pit lane and do his scheduled stop. Across the line. That's EXO. He's moved up to 4th place overall with the pit lane window. In pit lane as well again. Is that Michael Stephen in for a second time? It is. Michael Stevens had to go in for a second pit stop there by the looks of things. And he comes back out. Oh, right alongside Silvio Scribanti. So Scribanti and Michael Stephen coming together almost as they came out of pit lane. Fortunately, that rule of the white line saved a bit of a collision between the two of them. But it was very tight as Michael Stephen came out right alongside Silvio Scribanti as he went flying past the pit exit. So Scribanti from Aldo Scribanti, Mikhail Patamba and Letlaka, but on the track, leading on the road is Charles Orangis. And once those first 4 cars make their way into the pit lane, that should sort out the issues and the order, because it's now Arnie Neveling into 2nd place and Michael Stephen in 3rd, having to go into pit lane for a second time. I wonder if that intermittent misfire has come back onto the McLaren. He doesn't look comfortable out there, but hopefully he'll get it sorted out and be able to drive around the issue like he did in race 1. Not going to make it easy there for Stephen, I can tell you. And he's going to have to use his oodles of experience and multiple SA titles in that experience to maybe nurse that car to the line. Neveling is still fastest out there. In fact, has gone even quicker. He's just done a 57.8. Absolutely amazing stuff there. But, of course, he was in pit lane for a while. And now we'll get all sorted out as they come through once again to complete another lap. The standings will also get sorted out because we've still got to watch, as I said, for Aldo Scribanti, Silvio Scribanti, Mikhail Patamba and Zolile Letlaka to come into pit lane and do their stops. Looks like Stephen might have sorted his issue out. As he comes out the hairpin, it certainly looks like that McLaren might be firing a bit better, but it definitely had some issues. And if Michael's had to come in twice, then you know there's been an issue on that car. 55 is Scribanti, 13, or 25 I should say, is EXO. The 13 car is Ari Neveling. He's further up the field. And then Michael Stephen just behind them. He just went past me now. It didn't sound like any bit of a misfire coming out of the window that we were at here. So we'll just keep an eye on the progress there of Michael Stephen. He's down in 7th at the moment. Leading on the road in terms of the train of cars is that car there of Charles Orangis, but he of course is now classified in 4th. The cars behind him have to do the stops. So Silvio's got to do a stop, Aldo's got to do a stop, and Mikhail's got to do a stop in the Ferrari. Let's see what that window of opportunity is going to be for the Scuderia Scribanti team. Silvio currently lapping in the 59s. Aldo's doing 60 flat. And Rangi's 59 threes. So he's about 0.2 of a second off the pace of the Lamborghini. Maybe Silvio's going to wait till the final day, or final part of the day, to do that pit stop and get the pit stop done and dusted. Into pit lane. We got a car in pit lane there, Daryl. Looks like it might be the Lamborghini of Ari Neveling. He's in for a second time. Yes, he is. No, that's EXO. Sorry, just picking up the wrong color there as it came in. I just saw the Lamborghini's rear wing as it went past the window. And it's EXO now in for his scheduled stop. So all of the Stradale cars have now come in for their stops. EXO being the last of the combatants. And he came in 5th place, losing position to Charles Orangis. He might still be able to stay out ahead of Michael Stephen if they get that pit stop right. And if that's the case, it might be perfectly timed by the team to add another car into the mix to keep out the charge from Michael Stephen and from Silvio Scribanti. Mikhail Patamba still in for a pit stop requirement as well. He's got to come in and do his scheduled stop in the 458 Pablo Clark Ferrari. MJR Motorsport, nice little run from him and a great baptism for that car this weekend. Only GT4 category car running this weekend in the South African GT Racing Association. But Action Jackson has definitely loved life down here. First time for him at the circuit as well, so he's also had to get used to a new circuit and learning the ins and outs of running here at Aldo Scribanti. EXO back on track. Charles Ranges in 4th place on the track. Right behind him is the leader, Silvio Scribanti. So how much longer is Silvio going to stay out there before he decides to go in to do that compulsory pit stop? Aldo Scribanti also looking for a chance now to maybe use the pit stop window to make up some ground. He wants to definitely stay ahead of Mikel Patamba and also potentially stay ahead of Charles Ranges as well. But Patamba's right behind him. 3rd place Ferrari crosses the line, completes another lap. Top 3 have now done 20 laps. And we've got 20 minutes or 20 and a half minutes completed in the race. So still a long way to go. I wonder if the Scribantis and Patamba are banking on some kind of safety car issue that could potentially help them out. Maybe that's part of their pit lane strategy. Late braking there, as you can see, trying to get through on the back markers so they don't hinder him too badly. Audi versus Audi. Jackson moving just to the wrong side there. I think Charles realized that and cut back. He's now got an Audi between himself and the leader of the race, Silvio Scribanti. I wonder if we're going to see Silvio peel off in the pit lane just yet or not. No, he's not. So he stays out in 2nd place along the road, but of course leading the race at this stage. Here he comes down to the Audi into turn 1. Might get blocked slightly there by Jackson. He'll have to find a way through between 1 and 2. Michael Stephen is down in 6th place, having to come in for that 2nd time. So he's got a big mountain to climb here. So it's Silvio Scribanti leading this race. This is the man we're looking at right now as he heads down into Chevy Sweep. Jackson still leading GT4s, only one out there. And that is your leader. And body language of the car says he's staying out. You'll see them pull ever so slightly to the right-hand side to come into the pit box if they're going to do a pit stop. But at this stage, Silvio seems to be pretty happy at the front end of this field and looking for a possibility of his first victory in this series. Down towards turn 1. Good start here from Jackson in this series. As I said, he has had a great outing so far in his races he's participated in the Extreme Supercars up in the Gauteng region with the Extreme Festival. Scribanti controlling things, but probably on the radio to Byron Tings in the team, saying, "Listen, what's our best plan here? I don't want to lose the lead, and I've got to come in still for this pit stop." I think that team might be banking on something going wrong out there, and they're going to try and use the pit stop window if a safety car situation happens. So it's Scribanti 1 and 2 at this stage. Mikel Patamba in 3rd place in the Ferrari also still needs to pit. But Aranjis, Letlaka, Michael Stephen, Arnie Neveling, Chap Sapuka have all had their pit stops. Letlaka now following things round. us getting into a rhythm to get him through the next half an hour or so of racing. Not a bad debut here for the R8. Run just controls things there from the front of the field, but of course he is still in 4th place. So it's going to be a case of Audi hanging on for the lead of the race, but not the win. The win currently is the second car in the shots there. Black and yellow machine coming out of Scuderia Scribante. First of the Scuderia cars coming in, and that is Aldo Scribante. So he's now come in for his scheduled stop. First of those Lamborghinis coming in for the scheduled stop there. Let's have a look and see if they've got the team dialed in now for a quick change. Might be considered a bit of a dress rehearsal there to use Aldo Scribante and hopefully get him in and out as rapidly as possible, not to lose any ground or possibly allow Charles Arangis through. Mikhail Patamba now moves up to 2nd place. This is the Ferrari in shot from Pablo Clark Racing. And the youngster doing such a good job. He had his first win in the G&H Transport Extreme Festival Supercars last weekend. And that certainly has just given him a huge boost of confidence. And he wants to maybe use that this weekend as well. He stays out and stays in 2nd place for now. And stays in 2nd place by staying ahead of Aldo Scribante as well. Brilliant stuff. So he's actually had an opportunity to get through there. Aldo's lost 1 position in that pit stop. Mikhail Patamba moving up to 2nd now officially over Aldo Scribante, and I think Charles Arangis has gone through as well. So Arangis has moved to 3rd. So Aldo just down 2 positions from where he was when he entered pit lane. So it might not have been exactly what he wanted, but he's definitely now having to fend off the intentions coming from behind of Charles Arangis. And if Arangis can get through on him, possibility he can now start to open up a bit of a margin. But I think what we're going to see here is maybe a bit of a team strategy to hold Arangis up ever so slightly by Aldo. If Aldo stays out and stays ahead of Charles, maybe Silvio can get in and out before Charles Arangis is able to do anything about it. That might be the way they're looking to do things here. Silvio stays out for now, though. So it's Silvio Scribante from Mikhail Patamba, Charles Arangis, Aldo Scribante, and XO. That's your top 5. Michael Steven down in 6th place, having to pit twice. That's not been a good day for him so far. He did have a bit of an intermittent misfire yesterday, which dropped him off the podium. He led initially in both races so far. And unfortunately, that misfire seems to come in the latter part of the hour endurance. Big pressure here on Aldo to fend off Charles Arangis. In fact, he opens up the door. Arangis is going to try and go around the outside of him. No, Aldo's good enough into the final corner. Gets up the inside of the 2nd Audi and just keeps out Arangis for now. But Arangis squares it off coming out of that final corner and now heads down towards turn 1 on and in the slipstream on the back end of that Lamborghini. Has a go into turn 1. Is he good enough? Aldo comes across on him. I think he might have got through. Might change up here. Has Charles Arangis been able to get through there on Aldo Scribante? No, he hasn't. Great driving there from Aldo to keep out Arangis. And this is maybe what the team is looking for him to do. Keep the Audi behind him. Slow him up ever so slightly. And that might give an opportunity to the team to get Silvio in. But he has a go into the hairpin. And this time he makes it stick. Like that. Blue flags. No, that's for position, unfortunately. It's not a slow car that they're having to warn. It's definitely a fight for position there. But needless to say, great job. And we can't go racing without our marshals, so we do appreciate the team effort that gets put out there on track to allow us to go racing. Silvio now going to come up, see if he can find a way through on Aldo into turn 1. He's going to have a look going into turn 1, I'm sure. Aldo is good. Those two cars are very evenly matched, and as they come onto the brakes, looks like Aldo's now going to do a little bit of blocking on Silvio as well, not to allow him through. Fights on. There's no team orders, of course, between those two guys, other than possibly taking each other out. But this might slow Silvio's track time a little, and also slow the opportunity of a great pit stop. Yeah, onto the brakes. This time Silvio on the inside of Aldo, and Aldo gives him a little bit of room to play and allows him to squeeze through. So Silvio Scribanti gets ahead now and sets his sights once again on Charles Arangis. So it's just Silvio Scribanti and Mikel Patamba that have to still pit. Ferrari going through there just ahead of Arangis. Silvio Scribanti's got to still go in to do his scheduled stop. How much longer are they going to keep him out there? Well, at least another lap for now. $60 flat from Silvio, 60 flat from Mikel Patamba. Charles Arangis at this point in time lapping in 58.5s. So not quite the fastest lap of the race. That's still in the hands of Arnie Neveling. And it looks like Arnie Neveling and both Chop Sapuka have now pitted and are not going back onto the circuit. So Neveling, having set the fastest lap of the race, has only completed 18 laps and has been in the pits along with Chop Sapuka for a long time. So we've got 6 cars still out there. Silvio trying to get in the laps now, trying to get a bit of clean air. He needs to get a fast lap in to ensure that he can come out ahead of Charles Arangis. Looks like the Ferrari's going in. Yes, it is. Pablo Clark and Liqui Moly Ferrari coming into pit box. And Mikel Patamba will move from second place and allow Charles Arangis to retake second. So lead car on the road is second in the standings. Second car on the road is the leading car in terms of the standings. So a little bit of a weird way of doing it, but that's how it's turned out after this first pit stop window has come to a close and almost to a full close. There you go. See the driver climbs out of the car. He has to then jump back into the car, both feet on the ground. And then once he's got that all sorted out, he can get going again. They'll strap him into the car. I don't think they're doing a refuel on that car. Looks like that car can do enough on one tank in the hour not to have to worry. Once the strapping's all put together and the gas shocks make their way back underneath the undercarriage, they should release that car and get him back on track. Good team effort there from the I2 boys and Pablo Clark Racing. Is that the Lambo in? Looks like it might be. We'll see it come through our shot. Yes, it is. Silvio Scribanti's into the pit box as Mikel Patamba is about to exit. So you can see it was maybe not the polished version of yesterday's pit stop for Pablo Clark Racing, but they still got him out. And they're going to possibly let him exit. And looks like Arnie Neveling is exiting at the same time as well. So whatever the issue on the Lamborghini was, it's now allowed Neveling a chance to get back on track. So Mikel Patamba comes through. Michael Stephen closing him down. He'll be a little bit quicker into turn 1. And then in the background, you can see the Golf Racing colours and Paget Racing of Stradale Motorsports Lamborghini Huracan. And that is Arnie Neveling back on track, but a long way down. About 20 laps behind the rest of the pack. Still going to look to score some points, though. That's probably why they've sent him out there, just to get some valuable championship points back in again. So the Ferrari is back on track. It's dropped to 3rd place at this point. We'll see that sorted out as the rest of the cars complete this next lap. And then, of course, the timing monitor will have a refresh as to how the standings are leading into the next 25 minutes of racing. I think Mikhail will probably slot into 4th place behind Aldo Scribanti. Michael Stevens still down in 6th place, but he's a couple of laps down. That's why he's probably not going to be able to make up that ground. He's going to just circulate to get as many points as possible. Oh, big fight on here. Big fight on here between the Lamborghini from Scuderia Scribanti heading down towards Chevy Sweep. And that is the battle for the lead. That's why Silvio Scribanti's got out ahead of Charles Arangis, and he's hanging on to the lead for now. So it's Arangis versus Scribanti. The Scribanti team have done an amazing job to get Silvio in and out of the pit box and ahead of the Audi. Now the battle's on. We got 25 minutes or so to go. A little bit of change left over on that 25 minutes. But it's Silvio Scribanti versus Charles Arangis. Arangis got on the inside for turn 1. Has a big look into turn 1. Oh, but he Looks like we might have just been able to keep him out, but I think we're going to see coming into turn 2 into the S's, yes. Scribanti's just been able to keep out a big charge there from Charles Orangis. Great run here from Silvio, and good effort there from the Scuderia Scribanti team to get him out ahead of Orangis. It must have been an absolutely lightning quick pit stop, because there was only a couple of seconds to play with to allow him to get the lead and maintain the lead. He got the lead on track, and now he tries to hang on to it. Coming up on one of the back markers, that's EXO they're closing in on. He's in 5th place. Shouldn't be too much of an issue there to get through on him, but watch out for Marius Jackson, who's coming out of pit lane as well. Get onto the brakes down into turn 1, and is it going to be a Lamborghini that holds up the R8? No, EXO will definitely not hold up his teammate. He'll give him some room to get through there, and he's done exactly that. So now Jackson, with his pit stop sorted out, allows the 2 leaders to go through. He's not going to let them, he's not going to get in their way at all. So it's a fight on here for the next 25 minutes. And it's for the lead of race 2 of this round of the South African GT Racing Association. Silvio versus Charles. Lamborghini Huracan versus the R8 LMS Audi of Charles Orangis. So as of yesterday, we had Lamborghini, Ferrari, Porsche, Audi, McLaren, and of course Bentley joining us. So it's 6 or 7 manufacturers that have now come to be part and parcel of the series as they've jumped in for the South African GT Racing Association's inaugural championship. Silvio lapping in the 59.192. Charles Orangis 59.107. How much more evenly matched do you want them to be? Their best lap times coming out of each car, 58.480 from Silvio and a 58.441 from Charles. How much closer do you want it? Well, you don't get much closer than that. And now the 2 of them are going to have to fight hard for the honours here in race 2. Aldo still hangs on to 3rd place ahead of Mikael Patamba, and then it's Zolile Letlaka and Michael Steven. Arnie Neveling on track again and into 7th place, but a couple of laps down. I think what will happen here with Michael Steven and Arnie Neveling's side of things is they'll just try and circulate to stay in 6th and 7th place respectively and pick up those championship points. Now heading into the hairpin. Orangis all over the back of Scribanti, but Scribanti is just soaking that pressure up big time. Not giving Charles any opportunity. Charles just keeping the pressure on. We should have about 24, 25 laps left of racing to go, so there's still a lot of time for something to go and create some last-minute excitement here between these 2 cars. Orangis has a look, but once again the Lamborghini is later on the brakes into turn 1 and shuts the door. So this is how it goes into the S's again. Scribanti just maintaining that lead for now. Charles Orangis maintaining the pressure on the leader. That's a nice run here from these 2 guys. And I think we're going to be in for a bit of a fight of note, maybe a little bit later on in the race, because at this stage they're just trying to keep it as smooth as possible. But I can tell you that's not an easy thing to do when you're into the kind of pace that these 2 are running. As I said, last lap it was a 58.5 from Scribanti, a 58.6 this time from Charles Orangis, and a 58.4 from Silvio. So they're just matching each other to a T as they circulate around for the win here. They are miles ahead of Aldo Scribanti, so they don't have to worry about anybody else getting involved. Aldo's quite a long way up the road ahead of Mikhail Patamba. And yes, thank you, Carl, Aftermarket Cousins. Hope you're enjoying all this racing. Like the icon, brother. Like the icon. Big welcome to Terry Gaffney, and it looks like Pops has joined us as well on my page. Richard Duckham is also watching. Thanks for your support, guys. Remember, we've got another one of these at about 1 o'clock this afternoon, the second of the South African GT Racing Association races for the day, the third one for the weekend. And then we'll be heading into the South African Endurance Series at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. We go live at about 20 to 4 for the build-up for that one. Ranji's had a look here 4 or 5 times. This time not close enough, but he's just showing a wheel and just coming out and putting his R8 LMS Audi into the wing mirrors there of that Lamborghini Huracan in front. Silvio's not even concerned. He is just controlling things at the front end and not giving Charles any opportunity to get through. Certainly not the easiest combatant to fight off is Charles Ranjis. And he will just maintain like a dog to a bone there. Not going to give any room. And if anything in terms of an opportunity is thrown or a scrap is thrown at him, he will take it. And this is a bit of a scrap that's going on between these two, that is for sure. Remember, it's Scribanti looking for his first victory in this championship. Aranji's looking for the second one of the weekend. The wins so far in this championship have been shared between Aranji's and Michael Stephen. So we're going to have to just keep an eye out on the progress of this little fight for the lead. Coming up on a back marker, I think that actually might be Action Jackson they're catching again. So Marius Jackson about to be caught and passed again by the battle for the lead. Oh, you can see Silvio diving on the inside there, late onto the inside of Marius Jackson, trying to put that car between himself and Charles Aranjis, but Aranjis was the Fender trailer there. Arguably the most expensive Fender trailer that that Lamborghini's ever pulled around a circuit before. And he tried to get up the inside and maybe just put the R8 GT4 car between them, but Aranjis was well aware of his intentions and went with him. They're coming up on Mikhail Patamba now. So about to get up and lap 4th placed Mikhail Patamba in the Pablo Clark and Liqui Moly sponsored Ferrari 458. Nice little glare off the windscreens as they come out of the Schaeffler S's now and head into the fast right-hander at Hanger. One of the fastest off-camber and slightly uphill corners in the country. Once again, another big dive on the inside coming from Aranjis, but Aranjis just can't find a way through. The big factor you've got with these cars, of course, is the aerodynamic packages and the electronics in these cars allow the drivers the confidence to make such late outbraking maneuvers or late braking maneuvers that they are able to do at each corner on the track. So makes it very difficult to try and overtake. Craig Evans has just joined us here from the Ford in Transit team. I hope you guys are having an awesome day. So is Simon Thiessen. Oh, he's on the beach watching the kids swim and the awesome beasts on track at the same time. Well, Thiessen, we're down in your side of the world next weekend for the Extreme Festival. If you've got a generator, we won't say no to it for next weekend, but because we don't want to have any power issues with, of course, our HCOM friends. So if you've got one spare, brother, I know that the Thiessen Generators boys in East London always look after us. So we won't say no. It'll be really cool to maybe give you a little bit of a punt there as well. Nice there from Mikhail Patamba, realizing the quicker cars are coming through. Great driving from the youngster, not getting involved in the battle that he's probably not going to be involved in yet. But he's not too far off that battle, I can tell you, with the continued improvement out of that youngster. Teenager at the wheel of a 458 Ferrari amongst some of SA's finest racing car drivers. You've got to keep an eye on that youngster for a great future. Galgocci's in the house as well. How's the fish doing, buddy? Having a great race day, and we are having a good one so far. Thanks for joining us, Stephen. Great to have you here as well, and being part and parcel of this. And I'm sure that the weather up in Northcliffe is probably as good, or maybe... Oh, is that the Audi slowing slightly? What's going on there with Arangis? Arangis has slowed up dramatically there and allowed Scribanti to get away ever so slightly. Something went wrong on the Audi as he came out of turn 1. Maybe he just missed a gear, or something definitely went wrong. But look at the gap that's opened up now. Big change up there. Whatever the issue was, he looks like he's got it going again, but there was definitely some kind of an issue there for Charles Arangis. Let's have a look and see. Yeah, Scribanti goes through there. Scribanti's in full flight, closing on Michael Stephen. I'm going to put another lap into him. Arangis maybe has just decided, you know what? I don't want to... Oh, no, there's a problem on that car. Look at him. That's a slightly different line he's taken into that corner. There's definitely a bit of a handling issue or some braking issues on that car. And Arangis might be in a bit of trouble here. So lead car of Silvio Scribanti closes on Michael Stephen, who's now into 5th place. Michael Stephen's actually just set the fastest lap of the race as well. Gone and put in a 57.952. So that's not a bad effort there from him. I don't know why Arnie Neveling's been taken off the timing monitor, but he's not on the monitor anymore. I think he's back in pit lane. And Charles Arangis into the 60 flats there, 60.372, as opposed to the 58.7 coming out of Silvio Scribanti. So there was definitely some kind of an issue there on the Audi on that last pass. Daryl Eckhart's just joined us as well. How you doing, D? You've joined us with a couple of laps to go here. We've got about 14 minutes of racing to go, so it's about 14 laps of racing still to go. Jackson in again. Marius Jackson brings the Audi R8 GT4 spec car into the pit lane again for MJR Racing and Mega Fiber. This is a good start for this car, but as I said, he was a lot closer to that Lamborghini about 2-3 laps ago. Whatever the issue was that Charles Arangis picked up, it's a case of that he's now losing ground, and Silvio Scribanti is looking good for the win. Coming up on Michael Stephen. Michael Stephen's not going to make it easy for Silvio Scribanti. He's certainly not going to roll off the pace that he's running at. Initially it was Arnie Neveling who was fastest on track, but now Michael Stephen has taken that pink number on the race Hive timing that we're picking up here from ZA Timing. The Speed Hive monitor, of course, giving us all the timing if you want it. It looks like New Zealand's just woken up, or they're about to go to sleep, because Wesley Skinner, who's also from just down the road here in East London originally, has joined us as well. Welcome, Big Wes. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for your support again. There you go. Michael Stephen giving up some room there to allow Silvio Scribanti through. So that is what should be 1, 2, and 3 on the road. Michael Stephen, as I said, with some misfire issues again, had to come into pit lane twice and dropped him down a couple of laps. So he's now lost another lap to the leader, putting him 4 laps behind the car who's just gone past him. And it's going to be 4 laps behind the Audi who's about to pass him as well. Charles Arangis dives up into the final corner and squeezes Michael Stephen, giving a little bit of room there from Stephen to get through. Michael doing an incredible job as always as a multiple SA champion in his own right. And he's won so many championships in the past. It's just the experience that he's using there. And he's putting a bit of pressure onto Charles Arangis. Arangis has gone through on him, but he's not going to give it up without a fight, even though he's 4 laps down. He's going to give Arangis a little bit of a run for his money. So it's Souls who's out front, looking for a chance now for his first victory in this championship. Let's see whether or not that's going to be the case. As they come into the closing stages now, we've got about 12 minutes of racing to go. Chatted to Silvio yesterday after race number 1, and he was saying that at this stage of the race, what tends to happen with the Michelin tyres is they start to get a little bit of understeer on the car. So he'll be well aware of that and looking to try and get through that with these last couple of laps before that starts to happen. Still doing 58.5s out of Arangis, and a 101 coming out of Aldo Scribanti. Going back to EXO, He's down in 6th place. He's behind Michael Stephen now. So Letluck had to come in. And there is Arnie Neverling. Neverling's back on track, but his transponder is not picking up. So Neverling is certainly back on track. You can see the Golf Racing colours of the 3rd Lamborghini from the Stradale Motorsport camp. And he's on track, so he'd probably be in 7th or possibly between 5 and 6. I think he may even be ahead of Michael Stephen, depending on how long he was in pit lane for. But definitely both of the Lamborghinis, the Hurricanes coming out of Stradale Motorsport, are back on track. And XO is the lead one of those two. But Arnie Neverling is right there with him. Nice move here from Jackson to step across to the GT Championship. He's going to be piloting that R8 of his in both the GT Championship as well as in the G&H Transport Extreme Supercars. So he's got a busy end to the season coming along. And Arnie Neverling's going to give a bit of a run now down the main straightaway. This is for position, so he doesn't have to give up that position. He can fight Arnie for the position on track. Silvio closing down on the back end now of XO. Zolile Letluck in the leading Lamborghini. I think Ari's got to come around and retake another lap away from Zolile before he can take the honours of the lead car or the lead Lamborghini out of Stradale. Big look on the inside there from Arnie Neverling to try and find a way through on Jackson. Jackson's keeping him out for now. He's definitely not making it easy. Making Ari drive around the outside of Chevy Sweep, which will be the inside now of the final corner, and eventually gets through. Another lap completed, and we're into the last 10 minutes. 9 and so minutes to go here for this first race of the day, second race of the weekend for the South African GT Racing Association. Mark Friedman's just joined us as well. What's up, dude? Hope you're enjoying all the Audis out on track. We've got an Audi R8 LMS, full GT3 spec machine, and an Audi R8 GT4 spec car on track as well there. All the way from Thailand, Johan Kranau's joined us too. Thanks for that, bud. Appreciate it. I hope you've enjoyed all the racing so far. We've got one more heat of these guys coming up at about 1 o'clock this afternoon. And remember, we've got the 3-hour endurance race, round 4 of the South African Endurance Series at about 20 to 4 this afternoon. We'll be going live with the build-up, and the lights go out at about 4 o'clock this afternoon. So we're into the night for the second 3-hour of the weekend. Right, so Ranges is up the pace slightly. There's a bit of a gap that he's got to make up here to catch Silvio Scribante, who's now been blocked slightly by XO. Comes alongside him and gets past almost instantaneously on the main straight. Wants to maybe get ahead of the two cars just up the road from him as well, if he can. It's a bit of breathing room between himself and Charles. Charles Orange is now upping the pace very much so in the closing stages. 58.6, 58.5. Those are the lap times being put in by 1 and 2 on track. And now coming up onto the back end of Jackson again. Oh, good move there. Good move from both cars to get through hanger sweep. That takes some huge go, and he needs to make a move like that. But Silvio is not going to give this one up. He wants this victory. He's got Aldo just ahead of him, and maybe Aldo can help him out a little bit, just to hold up that R8 Audi ever so slightly. So we're into about 6 minutes of racing to go. Possibility of about 5 or 6 laps to go of this one. And the battle is on for the lead there between Scribante and Arangis. Silvio closing on Aldo. Hoping he's going to try and help him out a little bit to keep the Audi R8 LMS of Charles Arangis at bay. Aldo goes wide. He's going to open up the door here, get Silvio through. Will he keep out? Oh, he will. It's exactly what I thought might happen. A little bit of team tactics coming into play there. Just holding up Charles slightly. And he does it again. Ooh, that was a bit naughty, but we'll wait and see whether they have anything to say about that. Here comes Charles. He'll eventually dive through. Heading up towards the final corner, and he's going to be forced wide and around the outside. Oh, and some contact. Contact there between Aldo Scribanti and Charles. Aldo doing more than what he was asked for, I can tell you. And Charles Arangis won't be happy about that. Charles Arangis will not be happy about that. He was forced wide twice, and then some contact into the final corner. And it's caused him to back off ever so slightly. So it's definitely on here for all these guys. Oh, it's getting a little bit ugly out there right now. Look at this. Massive pressure onto the back end of Aldo Scribanti. Remember, Aldo Scribanti is in third place, but he's 2 laps down. And he's not allowing Charles Arangis through. He's fending him off and holding him up to allow Silvio a chance to get some breathing room. Here goes the dive on the inside. This time the Audi R8 should be able to make it stick, and he does. As he gets through there, he's now up to second again. And that's now in running order on the track as they stand. You've got Silvio Scribanti ahead of Charles Arangis and the 45 car there of Aldo Scribanti in third. But it was about half a lap of blocking and defending coming from Aldo to give Silvio a bit more room to play. Team tactics certainly came into play there, that is for sure. And we're into the last 4 minutes of racing. So there could be some changes here. Oh no, that's exactly what I thought, Mr. Friedman. That's naughty, yes. But it's part and parcel of how you do things. If you have got a teammate to assist you, you can use that teammate to your advantage. Dodgy there from Sean Heidemann. I don't know. The COC might have to have a little chat about that afterwards. We'll wait and see what they've got to say. But so far, so good in terms of Silvio Scribanti. He's done nothing wrong. So Silvio Scribanti will be pretty ecstatic with how things are going so far as we're getting into the last 3.5 minutes of racing. So as he comes across, he'll complete another lap. That'll be getting 51 laps completed now. Oh, I can hear some tyre smoke and squealing in the background. I wonder who's got out of shape there coming out of Dunlop. I think it might have been the Audi. I think the Audi got out of shape there again. And maybe a bit of frustration coming out of Charles. He did run wide yesterday in race number 1 through Dunlop Curve. And it looks like he might have done the same thing there, trying to make up the ground. Fortunately, we didn't pick it up, but I could just hear it in the background of some tyres and some Michelin tyres squealing for grip into the final corner. And if that's the case, I think that's enough, and it's more than enough breathing room there for Silvio Scribanti to come through and possibly wrap up his first win in this championship. He was in second yesterday, and he said to me in the interview, he's dying for that first victory. Let's have a look as we follow Charles Arangis up towards the final corner. Maybe we'll get a shot and see some black Michelin rubber on the exit point. Yeah, I think that's where you got to. There's definitely some new black lines put down there by the Audi coming through that corner the last time. So it's now almost a 2-second lead that Arangis is now, or I should say, Silvio Scribanti has got over Arangis, which should be more than enough to bring him to the line. I would say we're possibly on the penultimate lap right now with 58 and a half minutes, so it's a minute and a half to go in this one. There is your leader. Scribanti concrete from the Scuderia Scribanti team, and Silvio Scribanti at the wheel of this Lamborghini Huracan. So that's another lap down, 58.6, and so far so good for these guys. I think Silvio Scribanti is just nursing that car, doesn't want anything to go wrong at this point in time. Good possibility of checkered flag on this next pass. standing by possibly for the checkered flag now as it's being made ready, I'm sure. And this will be a real turnaround here for this team. Scribanti have been looking for their first victory, particularly Silvio. And as he comes to the line, are we going to see the checkered flag? No, they're sending for one more. One more lap to go. Didn't quite get to the hour mark. They were about 3 seconds out. If he just held it up slightly there, he wouldn't have had to do this extra lap. So about 3 seconds to go before he crossed the line, which means he's going to have to do another couple of laps here. Well, one more at least. Silvio Scribanti still looking for opportunity for his first victory, and it looks like today is going to be the day. He heads down towards Chevy Sweep for the last time behind the Mega Fiber and MJR Racing Audi R8 GT4 of Maurice Jackson. Jackson will probably allow him to get through there on the squirt and just give him one less lap to do. This time out should be checkered flag time. There it is. Checkered flag is out, and it is the first win for Silvio Scribanti. See the support on the sideline there from the local community as well as the racing community here in Aldo Scribanti. Sparky Bright and his team. Big shout out there to their local man and his first victory. I think we might have a little bit of an unhappy Charles Ranges though, having been blocked so hectically by Aldo. Let's see what they've got to say. And I'm going to shoot down there and get some Park for May interviews and see what the case is and how everybody's feeling after this one. But to run through unofficially the results there of race number 2, I'm going to ask Paul to just bring that up for us on the screen. It is Silvio Scribanti from Charles Ranges, Aldo Scribanti, and then Mikhail Patamba coming through in the Ferrari for 4th, beating Michael Steven and Exo Zolila Tlaka. Marius Jackson finishes up in 7th place, but he'll take the win in the GT4 class. Arnie Neveling down in 8th place, and unfortunately with the DNF there, that was Chop Sapuka in 9th. I'll be back shortly. I'm going to shoot down the pit lane and get some of the post-race antics and, of course, the celebrations on the podium as well for the team. And, of course, we'll then join you a bit later on. I'll do a wrap-up down in pit lane. But remember to come and join us later on today as we are going to be going live again for more action here from the Aldo Scribanti circuit. And that one, of course, is going to be at approximately 1 o'clock this afternoon for race 2 of the South African GT Racing Association. And then at 20 to 4 for the South African Endurance Series second race of the weekend. I'll call you up 3, 2, 1. Ready. Well, a big welcome down to the Park from area here now for our prize giving ceremony for South African GT Racing Association's race number 2 of the weekend. And what a battle we had out there. It was absolutely amazing to watch. And of course, eventually sorting things out there. And in third place, let's get him up on the podium. It's going to be an awesome effort to have him on the podium for the second time. Aldo Scribanti. So just getting their caps on, getting their masks on. Aldo, you can get up on the podium so long, buddy. Third place there for Aldo Scribanti. Great effort, second podium of the weekend there for him as well. And then in second place, after a big battle with Aldo, it's Charles Orangis for Strudale Motorsport. And then finally, on the top step of the podium for the first time, you can probably see the smile through that mask. Let's get Silvio Scribanti up on the top step. Well done, Silves. That's you got a Schumacher shuffle there. Was that a Scribanti shuffle? There we go. So there we go. Celebrations. Joining them on the podium as well for the first GT4 victory. Awesome effort from Marius Jackson for Mega Fiber and MJR Racing. He'll get up there as well and be part and parcel of that. It's great to see that. So we got 2 Audis and 2 Lamborghinis on the podium this time out. And there you have it, gentlemen. Great job. Before we get into the champagne side of things, let's get a good shot of that. We got a good shot of that. Yes, we do. All right. Enjoy the celebrations, boys. There you go. You can see a couple of guys who've had celebrations in the past and some who haven't. Trying to stay out of the spray as well, for now. One man who doesn't want to stay out of the spray is going to be Silvio, that's for sure. Corks are flying, champagne is spraying, that's the way we like to do things. Yeah, great job, guys. Great job. Let's get in there quickly and have a quick chat to these guys. I think we'll start with Marius because he's ready to go here. Marius, first GT4 victory for you, buddy. An amazing effort out there, but take us through a couple of pit stops that weren't... Okay. Right, just getting a camera lens cleaned there quickly. Marius, take us through 2, I think, unscheduled stops for you. Had to come in twice. What was the reason for it?
Yes, the first one, we had no communications. The guys forgot to plug me in, so that was always the first one. And the second one, just to change the water bottle. Running without aircon, we opened the window, we put in new water just to keep me hydrated, and yeah, I finished the race.
Great job, and I'm sure you're looking forward to being part of the series now on a full-time basis.
Definitely, yes.
And some more later on today?
Yeah, we go and prep a car now and do the last race and see where I come.
Awesome job, man. Well done. Congratulations, and we'll see you soon. Let's get our next guys in here as well. Where do they disappear to? Silvio! Silvio! So I had to call him in as well. Got to get in here as well and get the man who's taken his inaugural victory. He just disappeared from me. Don't you want to talk to me anymore? You're spoken to Gary and not me. Is that how it works, eh?
I'm getting ready.
How was that one, bud?
Yeah, wow, Greg. It was a hard race. I mean, it was super tough. I mean, race 1 we lost it in the pits. I mean, we were quicker. overall. But race 2, we worked last night, we worked this morning on our pits in and out strategy, and it paid off. I mean, we came out of the pits, we were just ahead of Charles, and we managed to hold it to the end. And I think ultimately I was a bit better than Charles through the traffic and managed to get gaps and hold the gap in the lead till the end. So super ecstatic for the team. I mean, great team effort. I mean, this is really a team effort. I can drive and be leading and lose it in the pits. So ultimately, well done to the team Scuderia, Scramonti, and glad to get my first win.
Exactly. You said to me yesterday you're dying for it, and I said it's coming soon. Now that it's there, it always comes in two. So what's the plans for race number 3?
Well, I mean, the morale's up. We're fired up now, so we're obviously going into race 3. Obviously, the plan is to win.
Sure.
We just got an I need a little bit more, I think, in terms of handling, just to get that consistency throughout the race, which we're going to work and strategize now. But definitely, I think a race win for race 3 is on the cards. There's no reason why not.
Awesome job. Well done again, and hopefully we'll see you back on the podium for the second one.
Thank you.
One today. There you go.
Thank you.
All right, so let's see if we can get Aldo in here as well. I don't know where he disappeared to. I know he's there somewhere. We'll get him in here as well. But Aldo Scramonti, of course, his second podium of the weekend, and he's pretty ecstatic about that too. But he was in a bit of a tussle, which we're going to try and find out about. Of course, there's always two sides to the coin. We're going to get Charles in here too to have a little bit of a chat. But there was definitely some team tactics that came into play there from the Scuderia Scramonti team. And here's the man who was in part of that. Come and join me, Al. Second podium, buddy. You must be ecstatic about that more importantly than anything else right now.
I don't know how that happened. I actually, my comms weren't working, so I couldn't hear Byron properly. So I wasn't quite sure where I was lying, but when I found out it was third, yeah, just happy, ecstatic.
Now, I know there's a bit of a contentious issue out there with a bit of team tactics coming into play. There was a bit of argy-bargy between yourself and Charles.
There was a little bit of argy-bargy. I haven't spoken to Charles yet. We'll let him cool down a bit. I mean, you got to have a cool head in this game.
Yes.
It doesn't help to get flustered. So yeah, I'll discuss it with Charles. I basically was holding a tighter line, but yeah, there was ample space down the straight for him to slipstream me and come past. But I think he chose to try and ram it through. So we did touch. But no hard feelings. We live to die another day.
Exactly. And live to race the third race today.
100%. We'll be there for the third race. 100%.
So that's 2 third places, buddy. I think that number 2 spot or maybe the number 1 spot. What's the chances?
You know, the Evo Evolution, the Evo kit. I don't have it on the car, so I know that. It's a bit of a yardstick for me, that for second or first, but nothing's impossible. We all go out with a mindset to try and win, so yeah, for sure we're going to try our best.
Awesome job, well done. We'll catch you off to the next one.
Greg, thank you, and hopefully I've got another number 3 out of 3.
There'll be nothing wrong with that, Well done, awesome job. Well, there you have it. That's basically the end of our first bit of coverage here today at Aldo Scramonti. Hope you enjoyed all the action for the South African Racing, the GD Racing Association's race 2 of the weekend. Race 3 is about 1 o'clock. Come and join us on the live stream. And don't forget the SAES round number 4. That is at about 20 to 4 this afternoon. We'll see you soon. Take care then. Bye-bye now.
Next to him on the grid, car number 29, that's Dr. Gerard Oosthuizen in the BMW. Then the next BMW on the third row of the grid, Murray Ellis. Then we have got next to him Stephen Phillips, and then Kian Barnard in the supercar, making a welcome return to regional racing in these areas. He'll have Calfane Ferreira in the beautifully turned out Volkswagen GTI 2-litre next to him, and then on the next row, car number 69, guy that's just got better and better as the season has progressed. That's car 69, that's Daniel Bright in the little VW Golf. Next to him, we have got Ryan Fasagi, car number 31. Then Jean-Ray Marais, the VW Polo. Greg Ford, car number 535 in the BMW. And then the young lady driver, Kelsey Davidson, car 522. Then we have Reynard Porgita, car number 46, the BMW. Followed by 173, that's Kolele Chumbuka in the VW Motorsport Development Program. And then we have got Thijs Geyser, Thijs in a VW as well. George van Balen is next up, car 283, followed by yet another Golf, that's the 911 Golf of Andrew Boshoff. Then we have got Royce Griffin, car number 41, and last but not least, in another VW Polo, Gordon Nolan. Nice to see Gordon back on the track. You see him going around there, car number 55. Murray Ellis just getting some heat into the tires. George van Balen in the little VW Polo up there in the mix as well. Once again, Gordon Nolan going around the 55 VW. A man that I didn't see in this entry list there, but out in the circuit, Duncan Lethbridge. Where did Duncan qualify? Just trying to pick up where he ended up. I don't see his name on the list, but he's certainly out on the circuit. The Audi TT of Duncan Lethbridge. Little Golf of Andrew Boshoff. Olele Jumbuka. The 173 guy is the VW Motorsport Development driver. This should be a titanic battle between Dion Slabbert and Rudolf de Vos. There was absolutely nothing in it earlier on. Qualifying 1/100th of a second separated them. A massive, massive thank you to Syra Bricks Recycling for bringing you the live stream of the regional racing this weekend at Alderswanti. Duncan Lethbridge starting at the back of the grid, so he obviously didn't qualify. Last minute photographs there. Neil Stephen taking a picture of his son Jeff. Great to have the Stephen Squared Racing guys here this weekend. As we go now, yes, watch the little Chevy Can-Am of Rudolf de Vos. As I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a ding-dong battle between him and the bright orange Polo of Dion Slabbert. Anticipation, lots of excitement building. Lap, race number 1, EP Regional Modifieds. Jean-Andre Marais in the number 47 car, the man behind Sarah Bricks Recycling. A massive, massive thank you to them for bringing you the live streaming. Gordon Nolan, great to have him back on circuit. He's been missing for the last couple of rounds. Jeff Stephen going through. Gerard Oosthuizen, Murray Ellis, Stephen Phillips. Stephen, that little Golf of his just gets quicker and quicker every time he goes out. A Mark 1 Golf that he's driving. Down through the sweep they come now. Dion Slubbert backing them up. Our pole sitter, Rudolph de Vos on his outside. Murray Ellis right up there. There's Kelsey Davidson, the young lady driver. Very, very competitive young lady. George van Baarlen in the second of the Emerald Fire cars. Thijs Geyser, that Golf, certainly very, very quick around the circuit. Dion Slubbert leading them through now, waiting for the lights to go out. A brilliant shot of the lights there. They go green and we go racing. A good start there from the little Chevy, Rudolph de Vos. Looks like he had possibly got ahead. Oh yeah, he has certainly got ahead of Dion Slubbert. Oh, hard on the brakes there for Gerard Oosthuizen, locking up in the BMW E36. Dion Slubbert, whoa, getting completely sideways. Brilliant driving. We knew there was going to be plenty of action from these guys, and right from turn number 1, absolute on the limit. And Kean Barnard has gone farming in a big way in the Sarah Bricks recycling car, and managing to get it back on circuit again. Slubbert once again locking it up. Off the. He's managed to keep it on the track. I don't know how the hell he managed to do that, but he is under immense pressure now from Rudolph de Vos. Dion Slubbert going to have to pull out all stops to keep that very, very, very quick Chevy Can-Am behind him. Just looking to see what's happened to Jeff Stephen. He was running in third. I see he's dropped down to fourth. So Gerard Oosthuizen having moved up into third place. Jeff Stephen fourth. Murray Ellis goes through in fifth place, followed by Stephen Phillips. Kelvin Ferreira has got ahead of Stephen Phillips. Then it's Jean-Andre Marais, Ryan Fasagi, Kean Barnard, Daniel Bright, Reynard Potgieter, Kelsey Davidson. Behind Kelsey Davidson, Royce Griffin, George van Baarlen, Thijs Geyser, Greg Ford, Hulele Jumbuchna, Gordon Nolan, Andrew Bossoff running in 20th place. Unfortunately, the live stream pictures has gone blank. Just waiting to reboot the system quickly to get it going. So as they come through, Rudolph de Vos leads Dion Slubbert. Unfortunately, I missed where the overtake move happened. Gerard Oosthuizen running in third, Jeff Stephen fourth, Murray Ellis fifth. Kelvin Ferreira crosses in sixth. As the live pictures come back again, see Jeff Stephen coming through there. Kelvin Ferreira, Stephen Phillips, Jean-Andre Marais. Looked like, let's see, with Thijs Geyser up into 16th place. But the action really, really hotting up in the lead. Top two cars having opened up quite a substantial gap over the third place man. Gerard Oosthuizen running in third, but it's all about Rudolph de Vos and Dion Slubbert at this stage. De Vos leads Slubbert through. Gerard Oosthuizen coming through, followed by Jeff Jeff Stephen in fourth, Colfane Ferreira, Murray Ellis, Stephen Phillips. Lots of action there. Duncan Lethbridge, Gordon Nolan just ahead of him, Jean-Andre Murray in the 47 car, the Syra Bricks recycling car. Late on the brakes for Duncan Lethbridge, trying to find a way past Jean-Andre Murray. Somebody had been off, running very wide in the exit of turn 7 onto the main straight. Lots of dust as they go onto the main straight. Kian Barnard still going well. He's up into 12th place in the second of the Syra Bricks recycling cars. Back to the lead. Oh, late on the brakes there for Rudolf de Vos. Whoa, Dion Slabbert having got through, managing to slide through on the inside. Almost like Rudolf de Vos outbraked himself. Oh, just look how these cars are leaning on the absolute limit as they go through the twists of Aldous Grabanti Raceway, up onto 3 wheels onto the main straight. When they cross now, we'll have 6 laps left in the race. Once again, the little Chevy Can-Am of Rudolf de Vos trying to find his way past Dion Slabbert. Duncan Lethbridge in the St. Francis Marine Audi TT. Great shot of the car that we saw a moment or two ago. After 6 laps, Dion Slabbert still leads Rudolf de Vos. Gerrit Westhuizen in third. Lots more dust getting chucked up. Some of the guys running wide. Yellow flags, so it looks like somebody's possibly gone off in turn 7. Not turn 7, turn 5. We go through the leaderboard. Gerrit Westhuizen in third, Jeff Stephen in fourth, Colfane Ferreira fifth, Murray Ellis running in sixth, Stephen Phillips seventh, Royce Griffin in eighth, Ryan Fasaki ninth, Reynard Potgieter 10th, Jean-Andre Murray 11th, Kelsey Davidson having made up a place, she's up into 12th, Daniel Bright 13th. So see, Kian Barnard has dropped down, so it was possibly him that ran wide. We saw the dust earlier on. So Kelsey Davidson 12th, Daniel Bright 13th, Greg Ford running in 14th, Tace Kaiser 15th, George van Balen 16th, Kian Barnard 17th. In 18th it's 173, Molele Jumbuka, followed by the 9-1 car of Andrew Boshoff, and last but not least Gordon Nolan. Nolan was right up in the middle of the pack, so he's obviously had an issue somewhere around the circuit. Of Dion Slabbert. I didn't see Rudolf de Vos car in picture. There we go. So de Vos has opened up a nice little lead now over the second place man, Dion Slabbert. Westhuizen still running in third. See Kelsey Davidson leading the charging pack through. Kelsey involved in a battle with Jean-Andre Murray, Daniel Bright and Greg Ford. Gordon Nolan still out on circuit. He's just ahead of, oh no, sorry, that's the 31 car. That's Ryan Fasaki. Very similar looking polo to the car that Gordon Nolan races. We'll have to just make a note of that. Daniel Bright running wide, looking for a way past Jean-Andre Murray in the Syra Bricks recycling car. Got 4 laps left in the race. Dion Slabbert having got ahead of Rudolf de Vos again. Didn't see where that overtaking move happened, but Dion Slabbert back into the lead. De Vos second, Gerrit Westhuizen still running third, followed by Jeff Stephen in fourth. Ryan Fasaki, Andre Murray, Daniel Brighton, Greg Ford. They're having a great race further on down the fields, running in classes D and E. Lots of races within a race with the regional modified saloons. Saw the 3-lap board out there, 3 laps left in the race. This one's certainly going to go down to the wire. The action between Dion Slabbert and Rudolf de Vos has been hectic from the moment the lights went out. Kelsey Davidson just ahead of Ryan Fasaki coming through now, and then the pack of Greg Ford, Daniel Bright, Thijs Geyser. Once again, Rudolf de Vos seems to have gone missing. Not too sure what has happened to the man that has led for a good part of the race. Come into the pits, so not too sure where he has disappeared. So Dion Slabbert now a lonely first place, but he's got a whole lot of back markers that he's going to have to contend with 1 lap to go in the race. Oh, there we're getting shots of Rudolf de Vos. He's dropped right down, so something obviously went wrong somewhere along the line. 13 seconds off our race leader, Dion Slabbert. Slabbert, you see the car lifting its back wheels as he goes through the corners on the absolute limit. He's got Daniel Bright just passing through on the inside of Daniel Bright as the blue flags go out to indicate that there is a faster car coming through. Greg Ford in the 535 BMW. Doing the right thing, letting the race leader go through, giving him lots of space. Oh, and unfortunately the Cyberbridge recycling car of Andre Murray coming to a standstill on the side of the circuit. Checkered flag going out for our race winner, Dion Slabbert. Let's see what the gap was in the end over Rudolf de Vos. Here comes de Vos now onto the main straight. It was 13 seconds. Let's see what it is now. Up to 17.5 seconds. So in the end, a dominant win there for Dion Slabbert over Rudolf de Vos. Gerrit Oosthuizen crosses in 3rd place. Jeff Steven comes through now. The Steven Squared Racing Golf in 4th. A very good place there for Jeff Steven. Royce Griffin will be the next car across the line. Car number 41. Followed by the 101 VW 2-litre GTI of Calvin Ferreira. Murray Ellis crosses in 7th place, followed by Stephen Phillips in 8th. Kelsey Davidson will be 2nd in Class C, 9th overall. She crosses now. And Reinhard Potgieter will round out the top 10, also in Class C. That'll put him 3rd in Class C. Then who have we got? Greg Ford. Greg Ford is next to the cars across in 11th, followed by Daniel Bright. Good race there from Daniel Bright. Ryan Fasaki in Class X is 13th. So that concludes race number 1 in the regional modifieds. Plenty more action to come later for race number 2 in the regional modifieds. We're going to take a short break and then we'll be back with plenty more action from Aldo Scribantu Raceway.